Hi, YouTubers. It's Lost as You again. It's February 11th, Wednesday. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who's encouraged me in making the videos and have offered all the great tips and wonderful advice and just the spirit of camaraderie that you put forth for somebody just starting out something that's very awkward. Thank you. What a great crowd. This video is going to be on the red list, blue list, yellow list that I hear a lot about. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a list that's either by FEMA or Homeland Security, and it designates the threat level of Americans to their little operations. Of course, you probably heard by now that they want to round Americans up in FEMA camps, and the FEMA camps are built. You can Google that and you can see them. And they assess the threat of individuals against them, either they're patriots or freedom fighters or people that are just outspoken, by using a red, blue, and yellow list. Red list, apparently you're such a threat to them and you're so outspoken and you could rival some resistance against them that they're just going to come right out and kill you outright and probably make an example of you to your neighbors. Blue list, supposedly you're not much of a threat. You may know about some things, but you're not too outspoken. You'll go along with the program. And yellow list is people that they consider safe, and they'll probably send you to a re-education camp, and you may actually come out of that alive. It sounds pretty hairy, it sounds pretty dodgy, and you might think I'm being paranoid. If you think that, I suggest you do some research, because it's better to know about it than to be caught by it unawares. Maybe I'm a crank, maybe I'm crazy. That would be wonderful, and I really hope that that's true. But if I'm not crazy, then you have some serious thinking to do, and I don't know how much time you have. So start now, prepare as well as you can. Watch some other videos that are being made by patriots out there and really sticking their neck out to try to protect you. Watch their videos and learn as much as you can, and then help spread the word by making your own videos, because your opinion does matter. It's very important, especially now. So back to the list. If you think you can qualify for a red list or blue list, yellow list, you think, well, I'm just going to go along with it. I'm going to be okay. Maybe I can make it on the blue list. Or, if I just go along and go to the re-education camp or what have you, and just play along, then I'll be on the yellow list. There's one flaw in that plan, and it's a pretty big flaw. It's called the Georgia Guidestones, and I'm going to try to put a picture up. And these Guidestones are a monument in Georgia that pretty much lists their plan. The Georgia Guidestones are a huge granite monument in Georgia. That's why it's called Georgia Guidestones. And it outlines their itinerary. And first on their list, it says to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 500 million in a world population that's currently over 6 billion. Chances are, if you weren't on the planning committee for this thing, or you weren't kicking money towards it, or if you didn't know about it up till now, you're not included in that 500 million. So what does that mean? How do you get down to 500 million? Well, figure it out. It's not too tough to figure out. Don't take my word on this either, please. I'll post a picture, but Google it. There's some good videos on YouTube. Some patriots, dressed them up a little bit, and I think it looks much better now than it did. Take a look. The second one is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Guiding reproduction wisely. There's also something called eugenics. Eugenics is where they try to modify our DNA. It's kind of like Hitler in the master race. Most people can identify with that. They're aware of what that is. That's going on now. As a matter of fact, those scientists were hired in America under Project Paperclip. We all know about the German brain drain, how we got hold of their sciences and brought them over. And, we got Einstein and a nuclear bomb and all that. But eugenics is moving ahead. That's why one of Obama's first orders of business was to increase aid for abortions, because they want to get this population down to 500 million. Was it Obama's call? I doubt it. He's a front man. That's it. There's people working behind him. It's pretty obvious, just even in his cabinet selection. But they want to guide reproduction wisely, and they want to improve fitness and diversity. They're not talking about gym memberships. They're going to modify DNA, and they're already doing it through genetically modified foods, what you eat. The next one, unite humanity with a living new language. Don't ask me. I don't know what this is. Either it is, I'm sure. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's not too good. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. This stuff sounds great. But anytime you start to think, man, this is some noble ideas, these are really great, go back to number one, maintain humanity under 500 million. Not good. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Why don't they do that now? They're in control of everything. They don't want to protect people, and they don't want fair laws and just courts, because with fair laws and just courts, you can't subjugate the masses and take all their money and expect them to suck it up and take it with absolutely no viable means of retribution. They're not held accountable now. All these people that are evading their taxes, let me evade my taxes and watch what happens to me. I'll be eating bread and water in a darkened cell. They get appointed to cabinet positions. So to protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts, that's a bit of a stretch. But still, it's on the stones. It cost them probably over $1 million, but the property and this monument, it's huge. Take a look at it. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. This is an oxymoron going. It doesn't jive. You can't rule internally, resolving disputes in a world court. That means a world court has authority over each of the nations that are supposedly ruled internally. And they're moving towards a world court, and that's why we have NATO, and that's why we have the European Union, the African Union, Asian Union, and now they're trying to make a North American Union. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. That's the kicker. That's the grand all beat all kicker. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Our justice system is so bogged down with just insane laws, you can't even get your mind around it. And there's a few more things on here, but basically what this does is defines your position on the red list, blue list, yellow list. There is no blue list, yellow list. There's a red list. A red list with timing. Where you're at on that red list, it doesn't matter. I'm going to post a picture of a Jewish man who's sitting on the edge of a pit waiting for a Nazi soldier to shoot him in the head. What brings a person to that point? How apathetic does a person have to be that they're going to sit on the edge of this pit waiting to be shot in the head so that they can drop into this pit peacefully? It's horrific, but it happens in countries every day. Why not America? What are you going to do about it? Sometimes just waking up enough people so that they have to drag their feet, and it just slows them down, and they get so bogged down with unpopularity. Sometimes that's enough. If we can resolve this without it escalating into violence, then great. If not, then we need to be able to prepare to pay the price that our forefathers paid and that they pay in every nation. When you watch the news, you see 14, 15-year-old kids all over the world defending their countries for what they believe is right. And that's a horrible, horrible thing. You grow immune to it. But just imagine an American 14 or 15-year-old having to take up arms and fight soldiers in the streets and probably die. That's a terrible thing. If there's any chance at all that we can stop this before it gets to that point, then we need to do whatever we can. If you have ideas, put them on a video. You have a different mind that's capable of billions of synapses per second. Put it to use. You're going to fire different than I will. Mine will fire different from End Time Watchman, or La Chula Blanca, or El Minor, or Martin. We all fire differently, and that's great. That's what makes us great. Everybody needs to get in on this. Even if you think your opinion's not valid or it's not important, we need to hear it. I watched a video today on a guy that made a video about defensive planning. He thought he had nothing to say. But what he was saying was pretty important. Your ideas are important too, whether you think they are or not. Certainly as important as mine, if not more so. Certainly as important as anybody's. You won't know. You might have the one piece that might save somebody's life, and you'll think it's an innocuous, irrelevant idea, but it could be the most important thing that person will need to rely on the trouble that's coming ahead. If you didn't make a video, you sold him out. You sold her out. Step up. Say something. I want to hear it. Thanks for watching my video.